Hey everybody, it's Vanessa. Welcome to Rather Retired. And those of you who are new to me, new to my channel, you will find that I've been through so much in life, and over time, hopefully another 7 years, you will learn so much about me. I will learn about you, tell you how I've handled life, and maybe you will help me handle even more, and I will help you get through what's to come. So it's called Rather Retired because I am rather retired, meaning I have not actually reached the full retirement age, which is now, as of 2025, January 2025. The law now says that you have to be 66 plus 10 years. But I did reach early retirement, and I will be telling you how I made it through that process and how did I even get to that point. And ultimately, I will tell you even how I made it to Medicare this year. Actually, it was 2024. I turned 65. So I'm in the whole Medicare, been through first year, now going into my second year. And something about me in this particular day, I kind of want to start there because those of you who have seen me for 7 years, I've done this level of exposure before. It was earlier when I was starting social media because I'm just not a person who ever wore all the makeup and the nails and all of the fake hair stuff. That's just not me. I try to just be centered, very grateful for what the Creator gave me, and I work with that instead of adding on, tweaking and changing and plucking and sucking and all of that. I'm not that person. If you are, good luck to you. But for me, I just also don't have a lot of time for all of that because in the end, you're just you. And I try to be very happy with just me. My voice comes and goes because it's winter. And today that I'm filming, this is January 9th, 2025. And I'm in Georgia, in particular, Atlanta Metro, because I'm everywhere around this town. Dealing with just a lot on January 9th. So I keep my water. In real life, I just really don't talk a lot. So for me to do these videos, it's a lot on this voice of mine, this throat. But I'm going to make it through. And so I'm showing you who I am. And by the end of the video, you will actually see me look a little better. So I'm going to talk to you and adjust myself at the same time and tell you what my day was. And continuing on the journey of Rather Retired. This episode is episode number 2, part 1. Don't forget, I will always do an episode, and it will always have a part 1 and a part 2. Part 1 I will show on YouTube. But for you to see and hear part 2, I ask you to join me in my new home. The channel is called Buy Me a Coffee. Buy Me a Coffee. And you can join my membership there for $5 a month. $5 a month, not much. I've seen people get all the chats and all of that, and that's wonderful, but I don't ask that. I have 4 levels, and the cheapest is $5. And it's because it takes a lot for a retired elder to do all of this. And I'm never going to lie to you. So I want you to hear what I'm about to tell you along this long journey. Hopefully, as long as I'm on the planet, I will always have this journey. And I want you to see it because ultimately you're going to have to go through it too. Well, anyway, this is episode 2, part 1. And if you want part 2, go to Buy Me a Coffee. That's www.buymeacoffee. No spaces. buymeacoffee.com. And my channel name is the same as it is here on YouTube, Rather Retired, Rather Retired. When you go on the channel for part 2, once you're on my page, kind of look at the dashboard, or if they have the vertical menu, click on shop, S-H-O-P, because you want to shop for part 2. And when you get to shop, you're going to see my products as a heading, my products. My video should be listed under my products. So it will be episode 1, part 2, episode 2, part 2, and just click on it. It's free if you are a member. So for $5 forever on this year, 2025, you will be able to have access. For $5 each month, you get access to all of it. So whatever you don't see one month, you see it the next month. You get me? But it's just a lot. Otherwise, my YouTube videos would be 4 hours long. So I'd rather have the majority of the videos at your time, your convenience. I'm also going to do a lot of posts, like written posts, visual posts, and they aren't always videos because there will be a variety of topics we're going to talk about and connect on. And for me, it's constant learning. No one grows up every day preparing for retirement. You just don't. So remember, I told you I'm going to do this, right? So I start with, just so you can see, your hair does get thinner as you get older, by the way. So I'm 65, and most days it's my hair, as you can see. You just rarely see what's back here. So I have a lot of hair back there. It's just that as you get older, it gets thinner and grayer, as you see. On the 21st, I will be going in. I love black hair. So I'll go into, I'm looking close at the camera. I will go into the stylist and let her do what she hates, which is me not letting her curl my hair or anything. But she gets to put that black dye on that I love. And about twice a year, I let her do the touch-up. Yes, I'm a black girl with black hair. And I love it. And see, it just keeps growing. But I'm just not that girl who's going to do all those curls and all that stuff. No. What I do is this. Twist it. This is why you rarely see my hair. Some of you are in shock, like, oh, she really does have hair on her head. Yes, I do. So anyway, I take it, swirl it around, and I'm going to show you I have a, you have to swirl it into a little knot. And then I take my hairpins and kind of get that down. So what I was saying too, so you'll know, now that you fully understand how to get part 1 once I do it, and part 1 is right here. Haven't even gotten started yet on the continue with the retirement part. Right now I just want to tell you about this day. Remember, I didn't lose focus. It was a long day, January 9th or something, to be remembered. So anyway, I woke up with an issue happening. And I've been hearing about it going on for a couple of days. Most of us have. But it was California on fire, in particular the metro LA area. See, it's historic. And for those of us who, I was just doing this on my sweater. This is one of my, I have a lot of like black, everything black. These have the little gold strands in it. I love this sweater. Isn't that cute? A lot of people think it's silver, but it's gold. So I wear scarves with it, necklaces, you name it. You know, that's a whole other story. Remember I told you my hair is going to be an episode of its own. So, and these are the new glasses. I do not like them. Over time, you will see them change. I like black and white. My old black and white, they didn't have the frame, and it freaked me out because you do have to change. You have to keep up. Your body changes, so you have to keep up with your eyesight. And I'm one of those, I was the child whose eyes were perfect. And then I turned 21, made it through college, but I turned 21 and I started noticing the change. Little by little, by the time I was almost 30, glasses every day. So here I am, over 30 years later, glasses every day. And now I have 2 pair. I have the computer glasses for anything close up, and then I have the distance. Now, I love my distance. I won't be able to see you, but check them out. They look like this. They fit better, right? Do better. These are my everyday for distance as I drive and all that kind of stuff. So These are for you right now up close, computer style. This hair, I told you, I'm going to stop messing with it. I am, but you don't know what happened, and I'm stuck with it. Can't wait to tell that story. So, got my hair back, right? Let's go with the lips. I'm a very cheap girl, always have been. I like quality. Certain things I'll spend money on, certain things I will not. This is my big glamour package. I go to Dollar Tree. And it used to be $1, but then during the pandemic, it went to $1.50, okay? Or $1.25, $1.25. But what I love, now I can really only find it there because I'm not paying over $2. You get your red, which I'm a red. Oh my God. I've been wearing red lipstick. Love it. And I love this color. Everywhere I go, people are like, where'd you get that? This is lightweight because it's actually about 10 at night. This day, I wanted to present to you, the bottom part is the gloss. About gone. Anyway, it's late at night. See, I can't wait to tell you what happened. January 9th. So I get up and LA's on fire. Everything just out of the blue, stuff you would never have guessed. And I know for those of you who are Christians, you probably are thinking, oh my God, we're coming to the close of days or whatever it's called. And for people like me, I look at what am I to learn from all of this? Because there are human beings behind it all. And everybody is suffering out there. I've lived in California, Metro LA, twice in my life. I had my first job after college, because I had jobs before I graduated from college. But once I graduated from my undergrad, my first job was in Los Angeles. So I always have that spot, that warm spot for LA. I was out there, loved it so much. And once I left with other jobs, school, all that, I went back again. I was finishing up my proposal stage on my thesis, and I went back out there. And I just loved it so much. I loved LA. And actually, I was living in Sherman Oaks, but that's the valley. So I knew all about the different residential areas, and I'm here to tell you, Pacific Palisades is like Bel Air and then Pacific Palisades. So they kind of fight for what's the most fifi. Most people knew of Beverly Hills, but that was not as exclusive, I'll say, because so many people had been living there for decades, you know, so you could drive around Beverly Hills without gates and codes and everything. But if you go to Bel Air, some of those neighborhoods in them Pacific Palisades, you're getting into the gated communities and very fifi multi-million-dollar homes, multi-million. And it's sad for me and it breaks my heart. I knew most of those restaurants and I knew some of the homes to look at them, you know. And it's real because these are real people, and real people worked in these homes, worked in these restaurants and businesses and shops, and lived in these homes. And their children went to school and you taught them, and doctors and lawyers and all of us cleaning the yards, the houses. We were the people with your teeth, fixing all your teeth, and we were just human beings living lives in these communities, and they are on fire. And most have been burned down. And living in the valley, I hear like 30 minutes away, the flames were there. And they had even gotten as close as Burbank area. I mean, Pasadena, you can just get on the highway and go out. When you're talking about engulfed in flames, that in itself has hit me. So this day, that's what I woke up to watching all of that. Number 2, President Jimmy Carter. He's my heart too. Jimmy Carter lived 100 years. On top of that, he was in love with someone who almost lived 100, and they were together. The grandson's speech, make sure you see his speech for his grandfather, sorry. He gave at one of the big cathedrals, I think it was in the Washington, D.C. area, when he gave his eulogy statements as a grandson. It touched me. It was so beautiful. It was beautiful. I loved President Carter because he's a Georgia boy, Georgia man, and he was my governor. He was my first governor that I was proud to say, I voted for you. Meaning, in elementary school, we had a teacher. She wanted us to learn civics and the process of how do we elect all these people. Never forget, I was born in 59. So you're talking about a time of Jim Crow. Only about the 60s legally, in the 1960s. We're not talking 1860s. I said 1960s. Was I allowed as a black person to go to state schools or public elementary schools and integration, learn your history, people learn it and know it's not a soap opera, this is real. So he became the first governor, Democrat, over Georgia. And it was a beautiful feeling because he had beliefs I had. He was putting people who looked like me in positions. He was open as a governor. He stopped that Jim Crow I was born into. And I witnessed and saw the changes in America and the people. And I was so proud. When he made a decision to run for president, there was no way people in the Jim Crow South, we could feel that the rest of this nation would embrace us. It happened through Jimmy Carter. He came with an open heart of caring for people, and he and his wife spent the rest of their lives having that belief system. So you will never find another president who lived that life of freedom. Jimmy Carter is one of a kind, and he helped a lot of us believe. There had not been belief before or faith. There had only been protest, struggle, fight. Protest, struggle, fight, because you have to fight for freedom. It can be taken away just like that. Women are learning that. African Americans are learning that. Some of you who understand what I'm saying, you're learning it. It can be taken away just like that. So Jimmy Carter, this was his final funeral day. And I had to watch the flight, the ceremony, and get over some of the tears and the tightness and the realizing life must have a legacy. You have to leave a legacy for people. You see how rather retired is more than just two words. It's real. You have to live something. You have to live a life first. How do you retire from something that it was a nothing? What did you do? What are you doing to be able to say that someday you are retired, that you have done what your Creator brought you here to do? Some of you don't even realize what it is you were brought here to do, and you're not doing it. And the clock is ticking. So for me, as I've told you before, I turned 62. The path, because I do 3 topics in part 1 and then 3 topics in part 2. So this is now transitioning into part 1, the first 3 topics. My day, as I told you, was crazy, right? In this hair. It just brought up a lot of the clock is ticking. So when I saw the fires and what those people have lost and what they now must look and have the strength and courage to go through in the future, that touched me. And I had to bring it into this video. Number 2, like I said, the Carter family, all of the citizens and Democrats, we know what it takes to change a nation. And that man put it on his shoulders and brought the people together to make change happen. And never, ever forget, if he had not become the governor of Georgia, he would not have become your president. And some of you are actually happy that people like me never would have gained any freedoms, no civil rights. But we, along with him, helping the world see that we deserved freedom. So, ready for part 2. Episode number 2. Here we go. Parts 1, 2, and 3. And don't forget, part 2 will be on Buy Me a Coffee. And my channel is Rather Retired. So, episode 2. A. Just say ABC. Here's A. A is the reality of once you decide this is where you're headed, you're on that path because you're thinking it's retirement time. But you're going to have to deal with the reality check. That's kind of A, the reality check. Just because you are ready to retire, that doesn't mean that you can retire. Now, some of you have been working due diligently to go and pass the requirements of the Social Security Administration so that you will be approved for all of that money to come back to you month after month after month. Have you even looked on the Social Security website? Yeah, you need to go to the Social Security website under the government. It'll be a .gov. And you need to read very carefully what is going to be required because they're going to keep track of you. And hopefully they've been sending you letters because if you have your Social Security card, they are keeping up with you every time anyone pays you a salary, any money. If they submit your wages to the government, they are keeping up with you. And they're able to document how many hours you've put in and how much money has been taken out of your check for Social Security earnings. So that's step 1, the reality check. Are you on path? Or have you gotten close? Do you even know how many more hours or how much more money you need to have in that account before you can declare to get it back? So that's 1, the reality check. Wake up, people, go to Social Security, to their website, .gov, and make sure you're updated on what is the requirement. And that will take you to 2, I put up 3 fingers, right? But they will really take you to 2 conversations. 1 is early retirement, and the other, oh no, these fingers kind of funny, huh? The other 2 is about full retirement because that keeps changing. I told you as of 2025, they have changed the age again when you can claim all of your benefits. So you have to know, you don't have a choice but to make sure that you're doing your path work towards retirement. That's step 1. So number 2 on this episode, the B. The question overall is always going to be, well, how did I do it? How did I get to this retirement? I had to be honest with myself. What you want to do, once you find out the criteria, because you're thinking, I want to retire, I'm on this path to retirement. Next, number 2 is, will you go early retirement or are you going to wait until full retirement? So for me, that was the choice of 62 or basically 67. 62 or 67, right? So you have a 5-year gap there. And the question becomes, are you ready for 62 right now? And remember, I was not the age when I first started looking at all of this. And then add another 5 years and think about it, I'm still not at 67. So I made the decision, I'm going early. And it was because there are no guarantees of life. And I told you, the pandemic slapped me in the face of, this is something you cannot predict. You can't predict life and your lifespan. That's data, but is that you? So I had to look at my family history, and you need to look at it. And you need to know, what's the possibility of you making it to 62 versus 67? For 62, I felt I was close. I was at the point of, I think I was like 58. And at 58, I became 60. And by 60, I was really feeling close. And by 61, I was done. I was like, you know what? Let me sign the paper. If I can survive this whole COVID global thing, and I did everything I needed to do, because think about how many people lost hours towards Social Security. The jobs shut down. A lot of companies were releasing people. I was this close. And I realized I need to fill out the paperwork, like play like I'm filling it out, not online. Don't play with them, because you don't want a rejection. I did it on paper. I looked at all of the requirements, and I did it to the best of my ability, knowledge, what I could remember as my possible, data that could be approved. And when I realized I was that, like, without making mistakes, I'm in. And at 61, once I realized I'm in, I had to really decide, what are you going to do? This is that moment. Because you don't want the window to close. There are windows. They might tell you it might take 2 more months, this more months. You want to follow all the rules. So for me, I'm looking like, I feel like I've done the calculations and I will be approved if I fill it out. And if I'm the right age, when I get there, I'm going to do it immediately so that there are no questions of waiting forever. I can do early retirement. I tell you what else. I had a cousin. When she made it to that age, she waited 1.5 years. Why? She wanted early retirement, meaning she didn't want to wait till the 67. But she wasn't sure at 62 if she was ready. Not only did she feel that she could probably, pass the application requirements, but for her, were you mentally to say goodbye to that check? Remember, I'm always telling you, health is head to toe. So was her mental health ready to release the position, to release the socialization of working with people, knowing people, getting up, looking fabulous, going into the office, and at the end of the week, 2 month, whatever, you get that paycheck and you get to live that lifestyle and hang with the people? Was she ready to say goodbye to that? So that's the B. Are you ready mentally to let go of the check? Because once you claim retirement and that money coming back, you can't do both, except there's an exception. I'll talk about it in part 2. So hopefully you will go to buy me a coffee to Rather Retired and continue watching the videos. Episode number 2, you will watch part 2. And just to kind of give you a sense of C for this one, I told you it's ABC, and then that part 2 will have DEF. C is something called neck down health. Even though neck up is included in what I'm saying, but in particular, it's including neck down. Okay, neck down, most people think that's your majority of the word health. We tend to think mental health is something you can't really see the brain inside and what's going on. But I'm saying it is head to toe. Come on. Because if you need an MRI for a stroke, they're doing this. And you have to face the reality of your health. So the mental health of, are you ready to release that check? That's B. But then C becomes the rest of your health. Are you ready to release yourself? Meaning, do you want to address what's left? You must go get a physical. You must have them physically check you out. Know everything about your body, the good, the bad, the possibilities. And hint, I've heard if you're a drinker, and thank God I don't do alcohol. It actually gives me a headache. But if you're that smoker and if you're that drinker, they now have connected you straight to cancer. They're saying alcohol too is one of those little catalysts for 7 types of cancer. So I'm saying to you, you need to know the health history in your family because you need to learn your longevity possibilities because early retirement starts at 62. How close are you? Do you even know what's going on in your body? Go get yourself checked out and see because you might have to keep working to pay for all of those conditions that might come up. And if you're not covered with some good insurance, except for at your job, you can't leave your job yet. If you don't have a coverage of great insurance, health will take you down financially, mentally, socially, everything. Your whole world will crumble, even if you are early retirement. If you're not in good health and you don't have great insurance to help you, you have to keep working at a place giving you great health insurance. You have to. It's not just the paycheck of living in the great house and everything. You have to stay healthy. And sometimes it means you have to keep a job with health insurance to cover you. Never forget, Medicare, I just started, but I'm 65. When I claimed early retirement, I was 62. You can't get Medicare until 65. So that's still a 3-year window that you have to be covered with some great insurance. And that's why some people can't do early retirement. Remember, I told you have to do that checklist. Are you ready? So A, B, C. A, never forget, I just told you. A, you have to go to socialsecurity.gov and make sure you can pass the requirements. B, you have to really ask yourself, are you ready to cut the paycheck, the strings on the paycheck, and say bye-bye? Because one of the benefits that might come with the strings of the paycheck is health insurance, and that's C. So with that, go to buy me a coffee. The channel is Rather Retired. This is episode 2. And basically it's called How Did I Retire? Because this is that path, that process. I'm teaching you how to do it, what you have to consider and what you're going to go through, the decision-making process on that path. It's not easy. And there's a lot of things people don't want to talk about or encourage you to do. But I'm going to always talk you through it. And the entire part 2 is on that channel, on that website. Okay, so everybody, you see me transform. The hair story is coming, is coming, is coming. But you've seen me. And hopefully, like I said, these glasses will change too very soon. Because I actually like my black and white. I like my black and white. Have a good night. Oh, one last thing. Prayers to all of the people in California and prayers to all of us who are about to experience Storm Cora. Storm Cora. Look it up. Make sure you know what I'm talking about. If you're here in the Atlanta metro area, Tennessee, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Jackson, Mississippi, all of that strip across, we're going to be hit with ice, snow, freezing rain, and rain. So all 4 coming our way. Right now, I'm okay. But in the morning at 8 a.m., because they're saying they're going to brine the streets starting at 2 a.m. So you can imagine this is real for us. I just said, let me talk to you tonight while I can, but we're going to even have temperatures down to 19. This is the South. So you're talking freezing rain. And I hope the power doesn't go off, but they're saying there's a possibility. So I knew I would sleep in tomorrow, and I said, let me do this video right now, get it done for you. And I thank you so much. Please do subscribe to the channel and buy me a coffee. Bye.